Serious question. When I watch Obama in '04, DNC, I've watched that speech many times.
Incredible.
It's incredible, right? And honestly, to me, when I think about Michelle, whatever she is, whatever position people have, honestly, I could care less about it. Do your thing. When it came down to Bill Clinton, you know, home fries, Monica Lewinsky, listen, that business is between you and your wife. You guys got to figure that out, and the kids. I love when Dana White had the issue that happened on December 31st, and he openly said, he says, you think I'm worried about you? What do you think's happening in my household right now with my wife that we got to deal with this? That's the right answer. That's their business. Marriage is hard, family's hard. I'll leave that part aside. I want nothing but the best for anybody we've had as a president. I don't want negativity on anybody. But when I watch the Obamas today, especially the last 3 weeks, there is something different about it, right? They look unhappy. They look scared. They look worried. They look like they're willing to do anything for this guy not to get him because something may be exposed. And by the way, to me, it's even as simple as if you look at the policies of what Trump is doing and what Kamala is doing. If I go through my notes that's got a bunch of water on it right now, one of Trump's things that he wants to do with healthcare is repeal Obamacare. Do you think it's as simple as his fear of his legacy of ACA being removed? Or do you think there's something going on that they're afraid that if Trump and his administration gets in, they're going to do some kind of a Twitter files on FBI files, CIA files, DOJ files, and everyone's going to realize what they're doing, and that's what's really scaring them. What do you think it is, Dave?
That's such a good question, because it is, listen, if you look at the media and the political class's reaction to Donald Trump, it's not just that he makes them angry. It's very clear, since 2016, he makes them scared. They're scared of Donald Trump. And they even have these like Freudian slips where you saw Mika Brzezinski the other day, she's like, we're all dead. We're all dead if Donald Trump's back in there. And listen, I'll say this. When Donald Trump ran in 2016, I don't know if you guys remember this, but he kept making it a talking point of the campaign that he would say Obama created ISIS. And this freaked everybody out. And all of the journalists were like, what are you talking about? You're not allowed to say that. What do you mean? And he wouldn't back down. He was like, hey, Obama created... Now, it was a little bit of an exaggeration to say Obama created ISIS. The truth is that Obama only armed and funded them. He didn't actually create them, okay? But what Obama and John Brennan, who was the CIA director at the time, did in conjunction with Saudi Arabia and Israel, Trump supporters, is they decided, because they wanted to overthrow the secular dictator, Bashar al-Assad, that they were going to fund and arm Al-Qaeda and ISIS in Syria. Now that, under the legal code, is known as treason, with a capital T. Arming the enemy in the time of war. And if you haven't checked, the punishment for that is death. And so when Donald Trump is running and about to be president, and he's on national television saying, these guys committed treason, maybe not in those words, because Donald Trump, you know, he speaks the way Donald Trump does, and he only has like 5 words, and one of them is tremendous, and the other one is loser. And so he just called, but...
Excuse me, Dave Smith, he also has that one, excuse me.
That they are actually, I think, terrified that he might do, and he was also running on lock her up. I mean, now this might have just been rhetoric to Donald Trump, and in fact, I think it was. I don't think Donald Trump ever really knew how deep the swamp was when he was getting in the first time. I don't think he really had a plan to drain it, but he scared the bejesus out of those people, and they want him nowhere near power. I think they are very worried about what he might do.
That's kind of how I'm processing it. I'm processing it that, you know, when somebody is being investigated or somebody is being investigated, even as simple as your kids, you can see your kids and you're watching saying, something's going on with that body language. This body language is you screwed up. Yeah. But this body language is something happened that I don't know about that you're stressed out about. You'll see this at work environment and family and friends. But in this one, I look at his face, I don't think I've ever seen him like this before, ever. You're begging and lecturing, scolding black men that you better vote or else why would you vote for the other man? Like, how dare you vote for the other guy? You should vote for us. There's something very weird about it. Again, there may be nothing, but I'm purely a little bit skeptical that something's going on.
Yeah, I was going to say, most people didn't read through the Diddy lawsuit, and I really recommend that you read through it. The producer's name was Rodney. Lil Rod is the person that filed the lawsuit. It was like 70 pages long, and it's really worth the read because he had thousands of pictures and all of this evidence, which made it credible, you know? Not that I don't believe in due process, but this was about as credible as it gets. But one of the most compelling elements is that what he was describing was a Jeffrey Epstein type blackmail ring that's happening in Hollywood. So on the level of the politicians and the newscasters, I think it's the fear that you're describing. On the level of the actual artists and celebrities in Hollywood, I think it's just good old-fashioned blackmail. They have these people on tapes. And it's so funny because years ago, Kanye said this. He said specifically Diddy. He called out specifically Diddy. He said, you got out because you did a deal with the feds. A lot of these rappers go to prison, they get out. He said, you got out, him and J-Lo were shooting in the club. She was holding the gun. These are the facts. She gave him the gun. He shot in the club. They got arrested and they got let go. And Kanye said, part of your deal was that they were gonna let you out, but you have to control people like me in the industry. And when Kanye said it, it sounded insane. And then fast forward and you read through this lawsuit and you see these celebrities that are coming out and you're starting to ask yourself a question. Is this a good old-fashioned, these people, whether it's they get in trouble, they get pulled over by the police and they get them off, but it's like, we own you now. We're the mafia, we own you type of a deal. I think we're starting to ask those questions, especially with Jeffrey Epstein and the Diddy cases happening back to back. A lot of these people are being controlled and they're being kept out of trouble. But there's the other end of the deal. Like when Democrat season comes around, you better get up there and cry, J-Lo. You know what I mean?
And Candace, you make a good point because Elon was with, who was the podcast where Elon Musk, like this is a bold statement to make. He goes, the billionaires are afraid of Donald Trump because he's gonna release the Epstein client list. And they go, like what kind of billionaires? Like Reid Hoffman. And he was like, yes. He didn't hesitate for 1 second. So there's that list, PBD. There's all the people that were Epstein.
And remember, when he said Reid Hoffman, remember what he said. He used to report to me in PayPal.
And he laughed, right. Like, yeah, Reid Hoffman.
Yes.
So there's that, Candace. There's everybody on the Diddy list. And then when it comes to Barack Obama, Dave, Crossfire Hurricane, you know for a fact, if I'm Trump, I'm going after everybody that spied on me, that spied on the White House, that spied on Carter, on everybody. They're all afraid because this guy's gonna come in and it's retribution time, and he deserves it, and we deserve to see everybody that was colluding behind his back.
One of the best decisions I ever made in my life was joining the U.S. Army. When I served the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, the level of pride of America being the greatest country in the world went to the roof. If you are a veteran, or if you support veterans, you have family members, Veterans Day, we have brand spanking new gear for you to choose from. A whole plethora of options of what to choose from with shirts that say we support armed veterans. I am an armed veteran. Dog tags, shirts, hats, all of the different gears that we have. And for the first 250 people that place an order, you have the option of 12 to 15 brand spanking new mugs that we have. One says Angry Patriot. Another one says BizDoc. Another one has got the U.S. flag. Another one has PBD Podcast or Valuetainment or A Future Looks Bright. Go to vtmerch.com, place your order for Veterans Day. These things are going to go very quickly, and you'll get a custom mug that'll be sent your way.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.